Hey there to our 1,186 subscribers, our future subscribers, and all the people that secretly watch us without subscribing. This is kind of a follow-up to the psychic reading that we did recently. So the one that I did, the guy was polite enough. I actually gave him a good rating and stuff because I gave him vague questions. He gave me vague answers. And I was going to give him more detailed questions. I even talked to him about it, and he kind of ghosted me. So I was like, well, I want to do something for a follow-up. So instead, since I was on Fiverr, I was like, what kind of psychic readings can you get for $5? Because his was kind of a lot more than that. Not a lot, but, more than I really should have paid. And I was like, what could I get for the same amount of money that I spent with him? And unfortunately, it didn't end up the same amount because I didn't realize that Fiverr charges you like $3 something for each one, despite the fact the readings were only $5. So anyway, the guy ghosted me. He kept telling me, I'll be available tomorrow, I'll be available in a few hours, I'll be available in a little bit. And it never happened. So I went and I thought, the 3 questions I was going to give him, I went and gave it to 4 different psychics. Am I too close to the camera? Let me see. Sorry. I gave it to 4 different psychics, and then I was like, I'll ask a different question to 3 other psychics, and then like a single question, and then I seen a couple others I liked, because as I was going through looking at the $5 psychics, this chair is like something else. As I was going through looking at the different $5 psychics, I ended up finding out there were a lot more than I realized. And this chair's okay. It either wants to be all the way down or all the way up. So I found like 42, and obviously I'm not going to pay for 42 psychics. So anyway, so the questions I decided to ask the first 4. One was, which of my current creative projects should I prioritize over the next 2 years, and why? What is the biggest obstacle preventing me from reaching my goals right now? And do you see any major changes in my health or life circumstances over the next 2 years? If so, please describe them. And so, and just for clarification, I will put all of these and their links in the description, including the first psychic. So the first psychic I will be listing as psychic number 0 for this particular thing. And then I will put the number and the name and the link in the description for everybody. So anyway, for the first psychic, I gave her a 3.3. She goes by Sarass, and all I gave her was my first name, that I was in Northern California, and when I went to give her my birthday, I accidentally was a day off. I don't know why, I typed it wrong, but she said that wouldn't matter, because she did give me the reading, this one gave me the reading, within an hour, and when I went to look at it, I was like, oh, I gave you the wrong day. It was off by a day. And she said, it didn't matter. One day doesn't matter. But her promise was fast and clear answers. Okay, so the reading was delivered, like I said, extremely fast. The first thing I noticed was that the language was really overwritten. It was like, how to explain? It sounded like she was a college professor talking to a bunch of other college professors, like she was trying to sound like she knew a million words, but when you go and looked at the details of the words, it was like she was saying repetitive words in order, like, I can't remember exactly what it was. I should have wrote it down, but there was like, she said one word, and then she'd say another version of the same word, and like, it was so illogical. It looked like she was like basically trying too hard. And the answers were very vague. So question 1, it could literally fit every single project that I had, so it didn't narrow down anything. Question 2 was also vague, but good general guidance. And question 3, she acknowledged that I was going to have prolonged rest, which obviously is happening. But she said it's so I can live a slower lifestyle, which is not exactly the plan. I had the surgeries done because I got to the point where I couldn't stand up for 5 minutes without excruciating pain. I can stand up half an hour now, and it's getting better. So anyway, yeah, she got a 3.3 because she did give some general guidance, and she was fast, and I mean, because when you rate them, they give you 3 different things to rate them on. So yeah, psychic number 2 uses the name Clara. All I gave her is questions. It says 5-minute tarot reading as audio, clear answers and guidance. But she didn't respond at all. There was no communication in any way whatsoever. Fiverr credited money to my Fiverr account. I don't know how I feel about that. Luckily, it's just a tiny bit of money, only like $8 and something. But I don't know if I'm going to get on there again. And if I do, I don't know what year that'll be. But anyway, number 3 went by African U. They got a 1.7. I gave them my first name, my birthday, and a photo. It says, connect to all energies, pinpoint accuracy, sharp, crystal clear, detailed, and specific. Question 1 said I should focus on my tech and marketing project, which is none of them. Question 2 says all of my problems are the evil spirits around me and offering to help pay to get rid of them. Question 3 continued talking about all the evil spirits around me and said they offered to destroy all the evil spirits for more money because my health is fine and I only have spiritual problems. Okay, so number 4. Number 4 I actually gave a 5.0. Her name she goes by is Kitty Bellrose. All I gave her was the questions. She had no context, no names, no birthdays, no nothing. She promised intuitive guidance, entertainment, and personal reflection only. So she didn't make real claims to be psychic. She, I mean, guess kind of, sort of, but not really. Anyway, question 1. She said that I was going to have gradual growth in the project that I should focus on. It says building a body of work, identity, and audience. It requires writing, visual creativity, storytelling, content creation, design, sharing my ideas publicly, and gives consistent attention, or told me to give consistent attention to it, or requires consistent attention. I don't know how, I don't remember exactly how it's worded. And so in the way she described it, I'm guessing she's pointing out the YouTube. Question 2, as far as what my biggest obstacle is, it says allowing myself to make imperfect decisions. And she said I would have small completed goals, to focus on the small completed goals, which again kind of points towards YouTube. Question 3, I was asked about the major changes in my health or life circumstances. I probably shouldn't have used or. I should have said and. But anyway, question 3. She says, start uncertain and decide what belongs in my life. Change in environment, travel, having more control, keep social circles small. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me slow down. So, okay, start uncertain and decide what belongs in my life. And just keep in mind, these are just my notes from the readings. So, start uncertain and decide what belongs in my life. So, yeah, when I started YouTube, I wasn't really planning on starting it. I was just using it as a place to store a couple of videos. And I made them public. And then I just started adding it. Like 2 years, I think it was 2 years after I uploaded the first couple of videos, I started forcing myself to do it. And then change in environment, travel, and having more control, which the goal is to get a vehicle so I could travel and explore abandoned buildings and stuff. It says keep social circles small with deeper connections, which was, I guess, more of a life thing. And yeah, I do keep my social circles small on purpose and prefer deeper connections with the people I choose. And then extra, she said that I have many options available and I need to narrow my focus. I don't know, that could also be YouTube as far as like, I have so many ideas for videos. And I don't know, maybe she's telling me I need to narrow the types of videos I do down. So maybe I'll reassess which videos do good and which ones don't. And focus more on the ones that people like watching. So for the next part of this, I'm going to go like a little bit less detailed. Because the question I chose for the next 3, I said, do you see any significant changes in my children's lives over the next few years? If so, please describe them. And I don't really want to get into my kids' private readings. So I will just give a little bit of information. Okay, so number 5, this is psychic number 5. I gave a 5.0. They go by the name Light T. They offered full, fast, detailed, intuitive, professional, empathetic visions. I gave them my first name, that I was female, and my birthday. It was the shortest reading. And so, let's see, how do I do this without giving too many details? Okay, so I believe the reading, I'll tell you what my kids think after I get through the 3, but I believe the first part she was talking about my son, and it was pretty accurate for him. The second part was funny. She said she kept saying the number 3 as something big, and she didn't know exactly what that was. And I didn't tell her I had 3 kids, but she did the reading on 3 kids. So, I mean, she specified, one does this, one does this, one does this. So anyway, the next part was clearly about Jocelyn, and I thought it was interesting. And the 4th part was about Kendra, which also I thought was pretty spot on. And then she did one little thing at the end telling me to have patience. So that was the actual shortest reading, and it was only 1 page. And I gave her 5 stars because I just thought she was pretty accurate. Especially not knowing anything about the kids. Number 6, I gave a 4.7, and she goes by Seraphine. She promised in-depth tarot reading, complete guidance. I gave them all of our names and our zodiac signs. And just to be clear, it specifies what information they want, so it's not like I chose to give everybody different information. But again, with Jocelyn, it kind of said similar things to the first one, to number 5. With Kendra, it was way off, like completely just off. It didn't Like, even Jocelyn was laughing about it because she thought it was so funny. Yeah, with Kendra's, she did not come anywhere close. It was the opposite of her. With Skylar's, it was pretty accurate to and pretty consistent with the first one, or with number 5. And then psychic number 7, I gave a 5.0. Her name was Aurora Sage. All I gave her was the kids' names. It says, deep personalized rating with guidance for spiritual guidance and entertainment. So again, she said it's for entertainment, but she was offering spiritual guidance. With Jocelyn's, said pretty much the same thing as number 5 and 6, so that was interesting. With Kendra's, I don't want to get into the details, but it was pretty accurate for who Kendra is. And for Skylar's, still consistent with number 5 and 6. The interesting thing with Skylar's in all 3 of these is that when I asked the kids' opinions, Skylar let me know what was going on in his life about things I didn't know that the psychics pointed out, which is interesting. So Jocelyn said she thought they were all accurate for her, and she was amused at number 6 for Kendra because of how it was the opposite of Kendra. Kendra agreed with number 7. She said there was no way on number 6, and she was confused by number 5 because it was like short and kind of vague, but it was informative in a way. And then Skylar, like I said, I found out that he let me know that he was planning what all 3 psychics were saying. So that was interesting. Anyway, 2 more psychics that I did that were just different, some other type of readings. Okay, so number 8 was I gave a 4.7, and she went by Aurora D. She promised brief written message from spirit, automatic writing, and channeling. I gave her my name and a photo. So, first she suggested I might move to another country. And in the way she did this, she said I was considering it and to get away from a relationship, that I had considered it, and then I might still do it. So, yes, at the last couple, or maybe even the last few relationships, I considered leaving the country to get away from them. And I do not have any intention of ever leaving the country, like maybe to visit again someday, but not to move. So it was kind of sort of accurate on that part. But I was surprised she was very accurate on why my current husband and I split up. Like very detailed. And so I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get into his business. But she was very detailed about why we broke up. But I did laugh because she had made a comment about gaming being a problem, right? And I was like, trying to figure out, I was like, that's kind of weird. And my personal opinion, when I seen gaming, I thought gambling, and I was like, no, I don't think gambling was an issue. And I gave it to AI, and they're like, well, AI thought she meant like gaming, like computer games. And then I laughed because I was like, how many times he talks about life being a game, and I was like, that's kind of funny in an ironic way. And I don't know if she realized that he says the term game all the time, but anyway, I thought it was interesting. And she also mentioned that I need to put more effort into prayer. And the reason I wrote that down is because I had recently, like a couple days earlier, realized that I had been slacking on my prayers during recovery because my life has not been like consistent. It's been kind of a roller coaster. And so, like, at the time I get meals, I'm like kind of not thinking about the fact that I'm sitting down to eat all the time. And so, yeah, I got to get back to my prayers. Psychic number 9. Okay. I give him a 1.0 because that's the lowest I could go. I'd give him a 0 if I could. Just saying. So the name they went by is S. Alpha Sunny. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I had to give them mine and my mom's nicknames. And he asked, okay, maybe I should say, give you an idea of what he promised first. Then I'll explain the information he wanted. It said that he was going to scan my body and will tell me actual problems on my body and mind. And I'm thinking the way that his whole thing was labeled, I thought he would do a reading like Edgar Cayce does, the type of readings. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my Edgar Cayce video. But basically, Edgar Cayce would go into a trance, and he could see everything that was wrong with somebody's body. And he wasn't a doctor, but while he was unconscious, he talked like he was a doctor. He would use terminology that doctors used. Awake, he had no idea what the stuff meant. And he wouldn't even remember it. People would have to write it down for him. And so I'm thinking, scanning body that, from whatever country the guy's in, I'm thinking Edgar Cayce type reading, right? Edgar Cayce had the person's name and location, and that's it. So anyway, he wanted mine and my mom's nicknames, I guess, to try and connect with me and make sure I'm the right person. And then it asked me to describe all my health problems. I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose, because the whole point is to ask him what my health problems were. So I said that I was eclectic, and so is my health. And he asked what I wanted from the reading, and I said I wanted insights that I don't currently have. This guy, so I'll just read my notes real quick. It says, didn't tell me anything that's wrong with my body or mind, listed every evil he could think of, wanting me to pay to remove each one, then pay for regular cleansings, said I had nothing physically wrong with me, despite that being obviously, I'm not going to say what I actually wrote. And he gave me 5 stars. But it's just ridiculous, because basically he's like, oh, you have a jinn attached to you, and he was just like listing all these evil spirits, right? And he's like, you could pay me to remove each one and then pay for regular cleansings to make sure they don't come back and keep them away. And I was like, no, I'm good. So anyway, that's the readings. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And you could check out the ones that I gave credit to, that I gave good stars to. Maybe when I do the description, I will also put how many stars I gave them. And that way you can see what I thought of them. And yeah, so that's all for now. I will, oh yeah, I didn't look to see what my next videos are. So just, if you want, you can continue watching my state food videos and my Grimm's Fairy Tales. State food videos are on Mondays, Grimm's Fairy Tales are on Wednesdays. I will be back next weekend, or maybe, we'll see. My health hasn't really changed much. I'm still obviously laying down. I still can't sit. I'm able to get up and shower without pain, so that's good. But that's about the limit. Like, once I've showered, I have to lay back down. I can't, like, I've tried to shower and then fix breakfast right afterwards, and that's kind of a fail. So I still can't stand up longer than it takes to take a shower. But I'm getting there. So maybe I'll do an update next weekend, even if the update is just to let you know that not much is happening. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and get your friends to do the same thing. Thank you.